Good morning, students. It's April 15th. I just wanted to quickly explain your e-learning assignment for today. Today we're continuing the Harlem Renaissance. You're going to be reading a poem called The Black Man Talks of Reaping. I've included the poem as well as the questions in the assignment. You're going to have to click on the poem and open that up. When it opens, it should open in a separate either tab or it might even open in a separate doc. As you're reading, I want you to pay attention to the imagery that is created through the poem as well as the style that Langston Hughes uses as he's reading or as he's writing A Black Man Talks of Reaping. So, I have sown besides all waters in my day. I planted deep within my heart the fear that wind or fowl would take the grain away. I planted safe against this stark, lean year. I scattered seed enough to plant the land and rose from Canada to Mexico. But for my reaping, only what the hand can hold at once is all that I can show. Yet what I sowed and what the orchard yields, my brother's sons are gathering stalk and root. Small wonder then my children glean in fields they have not sown and feed on bitter fruit. Okay, so that's the poem. If you look at the style, it's 3 stanzas. It does have a rhyme scheme, which includes rhyming the first and third lines with the second and fourth lines in each stanza. It talks about each sentence is things he has done personally, and it's comparing himself to his children. So that's kind of the style and the images that are created. In the first stanza, it is the sowing of the seeds. So it's digging into the ground, planting the seeds so that the grain can't flow away. So it's actually covering those seeds. It's planting them. And he talks about it planting them in a stark lean year. So if you think about in times of needing food or in times of lack of water, lack of rain, that's when you'd have a stark, lean year. So that's when your plants are going to be the most important. You really, really, really need them to grow during stark, lean years. In the second stanza, he's talking about all the seeds he scattered elsewhere. So he scattered them from Canada to Mexico. In that idea, it's thinking about where he's been and where he's going. So they've been to Canada, they've been to Mexico, and they've tried to scatter these seeds. So we are all connected in this way of land, okay? So we're not separated just by being in America. We are connected to Canada and Mexico by the lands and by the plants. He can only show us what he's seen, and he can only show us and talk to us about what he's had, which is this American experience. But he's been to Canada and Mexico as well. Yet what I sowed and what the orchard yields, my brother's sons are gathering stalk and root. What that is basically talking about is even though he did all this work and he planted all this, think of a black man, okay? So the slaves were the ones who planted the crops, who sowed the crops for the white man. And what does his family get now? More heartache, more pain. He doesn't even get to experience the joy of that crop now. So which makes them bitter. So if you think about the slaves were the ones who really set us up for great cotton growth, great lots of things that we rely on for our industries in America. Black men as slaves were the ones who put those crops in the ground. Now, rights as a black man are not the same as a white man, even today. And so it makes them bitter because they haven't received the same things, and they kind of were the backbone that built some of the industries that we have in America. So that's the poem. Then you're going to open up the questions, and I believe that there's only 2 questions here. So for the questions, there's 3 questions, I'm sorry. So first, what are the most prominent images found in the poem your group reviewed? So think about the most prominent images are going to be planting the seeds in the first stanza, sowing those seeds across Canada, Mexico, and America in the second stanza. And the third stanza is really the bitter fruit and the stalk and root that they don't even get the deliciousness of the crop that they grew. Okay, so those are the main images. Brainstorm all the feelings associated with the images. Again, that bitterness is going to be associated with you've planted all of this and now you don't even get to enjoy what you've planted. So bitter is a big feeling that you should feel there. Maybe anger is another one that you would feel. Disappointment you could feel. All of those things are going to be things that you would feel based on those images. And then the last one is, how does Langston Hughes' style contribute to the meaning of the poem? Langston Hughes is very specific where he talks in I's. He often always uses I. So when you think about his style and the use of the word I, it makes you feel things more personally. So I think that, to me, is how his style really affects the poem, is that we tend to feel it as if we're experiencing it because he uses the word I. You may see something different, and that's fine. But those are the things that I'm looking for when you're answering those questions. I hope this helps, guys. Take care. Have a great day.